Hello, beautiful people. This is Matthew, Day and Night Podcast, episode 13. As always, we got Marcus in the house from San Antonio.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so I don't know about you, but I was just watching some of the games earlier. So I think the Giants is for real this year.
Yeah, I was telling you that from Green Bay when they played them, they looked good, but they looked really good against Baltimore too. So
yeah, and I think they had more signature wins than the Eagles do because they beat Baltimore, they beat Green Bay.
Right.
Who else did they beat?
That's pretty much it. I mean, they lost to Dallas. That's the only team they lost to. But
so I mean, the Eagles sitting in good position because there's only 3 4-1 teams, so 5-1. Vikings, the Giants now, and then Dallas. So even if they lose, they still in good condition. It's just not, they ain't gonna really have the chance at the NFC East because the Giants is playing so good.
yeah,
So the loss, if they lose, it will hurt them, but it's not going to be detrimental to like the rest of the conference, just for the division. So, but if they win, that's going to set them up. They'll be head above everybody else 3 games, and then 1 game and over Dallas. So hopefully them Jokers gonna pull it out. We'll see though.
yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to play their A game for sure.
Yeah.
They learned anything from these last 2 weeks that their offense going to have to maintain through the whole game. It can't be no first half and then the second half they just kind of cruise control.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because Dallas, they're different beasts. I think they got the best defense in the NFL. So to me, it's a signature win.
Right.
I don't care out of everybody else they play defensively, and I told you this the other day. If they do decent, I don't say they have to go out and blow them out, but if they can manage the game and be able to get good first downs and score when they have to score, that's to me mean that Hurts came along.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Now that's what I want. That's what I want to see, how Hurts play. Yeah. If they lose by 3 points and he balled out, then I'll be okay. But if he plays terrible and regress to how he was last year, then that's it's not looking good. But because they don't really have any dominant teams left on the schedule if you look at it. Because Green Bay, I just don't see it. Tennessee, Indianapolis. Yeah. So really, it's just the Giants in Dallas.
That's what I was saying. They got all the teams they're gonna play is gonna be teams they should be.
Right.
It's just gonna be a matter of they stay up for the game and don't be lackluster like they do in the second half. Of those other games. But I'm gonna give a good shout out to the Phillies though. We in there. So we played San Diego in the NLCS. So we'll see.
Oh, they beat the Dodgers?
Yeah, they beat them last night. Yeah, so it's gonna be. I think the game's in Philly because I think the Phillies have a better record. So I think it's gonna be the first games in Philly.
Wouldn't that be something them Jokers make it to the World Series?
That would be crazy. Crazy.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So with no further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. As always, beautiful people, like and subscribe, comment, and all right, Marcus, what do you got?
In a world of envy, analyze as these guys looks to see. They clones to the naked eye, the dynamic dude. No pesticides, they organic. Day and night's the podcast. In panoramic in 4K, live streaming on your airwaves. No cliche to downplay, this ain't no child's play. Twin brothers close knit bonding. They wonders of the world, they monsters. The twin Tompkins, brought only born. They travel the world stomping at the break of dawn daily. The iron's pumping, my brain no brothers, about to bring you their life. Look no further, everybody cause it's day and night.
Okay, so today's podcast is going to pretty much be about, I want to say traditional dating, but is it a trend changing on basically how, when you go out on a date, is it still appropriate for the guy to pay for they going out to eat or movies, whatever? Is it appropriate for the guy to pay, or is it okay for the woman to pay, or is it something that should be the way it always is? Is it okay nowadays versus, is it not? Basically, is the question in hand. So I'm gonna start off by saying, maybe about 6 months ago. Okay, I went out. I didn't say it was a date. Okay, we both acknowledged that we're gonna try to get to know each other. We just decided on the spot to meet up. We went out. I wanted to pay for everything, and she was like, "No, you don't have to do that because this is not officially a date. We just both agreed on going somewhere, and don't worry about it. I got it." And I said, "Well, what's wrong with me paying? To me, it's chivalry. It's a guy paying for whatever it is. I invited you. So why don't you just allow me to go ahead and pay?" Now, we didn't get into a big argument, but it was just a thing where she was like, "Well, I'm independent. I can take care of myself. I can pay my own bills and stuff. So there's nothing wrong with me footing the bill. Doesn't mean you're not any more of a man or less of a man if the woman pays for it." So I just thought it was interesting. I was like, well, it's just kind of my mindset. I always figured that it would be ideal that the guy paid. But she made a valid point. If it was a mutual agreement where we both wanted to go out, then we said it's either or if we go Dutch, where she pay her half and I pay my half. So I told her, my thing is, and this is the question I'm gonna ask you and all the viewers, is how do you feel about that? Do you feel maybe on a second date or a third date, then it's okay for the woman to foot the bill because then there's just pretty much being equal where you get this one, I get the next one? Or is it always should be standard, the man pays because he's the one that invited you out to wherever it is, like I said, dinner, movie, whatever it is that y'all decide to go do? So that's just something I thought would be a good, topic to bring up, talk about. Just curious to see everybody's thought process on that. Is it balanced nowadays? Do women feel like it's okay, the woman can pay, or do they still feel like the man should pay?
I don't know. I think that's depends on who you ask. Just with so many women and many topics we talked about before, with women just having the ability to support themselves, I think that it doesn't make a difference. But then, I don't know, it's still confusing to me because it's like women want to be independent. Just like you said, she's like, well, I can take care of myself, so it's no issue with me paying. Right. So you have some women that think like that, and then you have some women that believe that no, the man is supposed to pay. It should be the old traditional, the man pays for everything. He sets up the date and so forth. So for me, I don't have an issue with paying, but then it goes back to, like I was saying before, it's based off of old traditional type of dating. Right. And my thing is, we were programmed to an extent to do those things because back in the day, women weren't working and stuff like that. So the man was supposed to pay because he was the primary breadwinner. Right. So fast forward to now, would it make a difference? I don't think it should, because if you got two people that's going out on a date, right? And I'd say this: if she asks, if she's like, "Okay, Marcus, I want to go out on a date next Friday. Let's go to this place," and she plans it, I don't see anything wrong with her paying. Now, if it's the other way around, you're like, "Okay, I want to take you out on a date. This is where we're gonna go. Be here at this time, so forth." That's you inviting her. So my thing is always, whoever invites the other person is the one that should pay. I know some people gonna have pushback against that, but I just think it's different. The time period is different. Women have the ability to do that. I don't see anything wrong with it. As long as it's balanced, then it shouldn't be a problem. But if everybody is still focused on those old traditional, the man's supposed to pay, do this and that, then it's going to be, issues with people. But I'm firmly standing on it should be based on whoever actually invites the other person. Now, it's a different story if you just met the person and it's the first date. I don't know. Typically, the man would pay because back in the day, they called it courting. You're pursuing her. Right. So then it would be okay, or it's expected, I suppose.
Yeah, so that's a good point. That's what I was going to say too. Is exactly that. That when it's the first date or whatever you want to call it, yeah, the man's supposed to pay because he's courting her, as you say. You invited her, so it would be only fair and right that you pay for that instead of kind of looking at her and be like, well, are you gonna pay or not? Now, my other thing is this, or a mutual agreement. Again, like I said earlier, is if we both say, you know what, even though you invited me, this is our first time going out, I have no problem with paying half the bill because I don't want to feel like you're obligated. Because I had that happen where she told me that. There was another date, or we met for the first time, and we looked at each other because the girl, the waitress, was like, well, you ready for the bill? We was like, yeah. She's like, well, you don't have to worry about paying for me. I could pay for myself. So the girl comes with the bill. So we both pull out our credit cards. And we both insist on trying to pay. So the girl just laughed and said, oh my God, okay, just don't worry about it. I just go ahead and split the check and y'all can go pay half and half. So we both laughed because we both insisted on it. That's why I brought that up about who should, because she had the mindset of I can pay, don't worry about it, even though I invited her. She said it doesn't matter. I don't want this feeling like it's an obligation to you. And again, we don't want no expectations because we just meeting for the first time. So that's why I thought it was interesting how nowadays, how it has shifted, how it should be traditional courting the guy, paying for it, you know, out of respect. But nowadays it's not like that. I noticed that in the dating, I shouldn't say dating game, but dating nowadays, even when you first meet the person, even if the guy like myself invite her, they still want to pay, you know, because they feel like, again, it's an obligation to the guy and feel like he's trying to prove a point that I got the bill. So that's why I told her, I said, well, next time then I pay and the next time you will pay. So we got to an understanding where we'll just do that. Next one paid, another one, you know, back and forth kind of thing, just to keep it fair without any, you know, complications like that where we insist on paying. So I thought that was kind of funny though, that we both pulled out the cards at the same time. And she didn't want to let up, I didn't want to let up. So the waitress was just like, I just go split the bill. Because she looked like, really? Y'all both want y'all to pay? So, yeah. So I think that was funny.
Now, what I've heard before, I believe some women would rather pay because they don't want the man to feel as though that he's going to get something afterwards, so to speak. So it's like, nah, it ain't that type of party. I can pay for it. And just like you said earlier, it's to let the man know that she's independent. She can pay her bill. So she don't really need necessarily a man for that. And she's more or less, you know, wanting him for who he is as a person and not so forth as money. So this is what I want to ask you. I don't know if this happens to you. Now, when I used to go out on dates and stuff, and this still happens to this day, for some reason, when the waitress or the waiter comes with the check, they will always sit it in the middle.
Right.
Like they don't give it to me, where back in the day, before they will always come to the man or come to me and put the check by me. Now, when I'm out with Kiara or somebody, one of my daughters, they would go straight to me and give it to me. So sometimes I get kind of insulted because I'm like, okay, so what the hell? I don't look like I can pay for the bill or something? What? Why are you giving it to her?
Right.
But then when I'm with Kiara or one of the my daughters, it's always straight to me. So I don't know if they looking at me and sizing me up and like, it look like this dude either he don't have the money or he's not I want to say the head in a relationship, or he's not wearing the pants in a relationship. But there's something definitely there. So I'm just curious if that ever happens to you.
Yeah, I mean, that happened to me actually last night. I went out and we watched the baseball game. And that is interesting that you brought that up because she did go directly to her and set the bill there. So I thought the same thing. I was like, well, normally you would bring it to the guy or sit it in the middle of the table. Right. And I looked at her and she was just like, I guess she feels like I can pay for it. And we was joking about that because I was like, damn, what she think that I can't handle this or what? I mean, we didn't get that much to order for her to assume that, and she just started laughing. But yeah, that's just a good point. It actually happened last night, so you know, it's interesting because I thought the same thing. Like, in that girl's mind, was she thinking, okay, this dude might not be able to pay for it, so I'm gonna just give it to her? And I didn't know what to think about that. You know, why she did it, or is it just because she was on that side of the table?
Right.
I don't know. But that's a good point you made, though. You know, they do size you up.
Yeah.
I guess. But we both was dressed, you know, both kind of casual, nothing. She wasn't overdressing me. I wasn't underdressing her. So it wasn't looking like, well, one has more than the other on that aspect. Right. So it's just crazy that she did that. The only thing I could come up with, she kept ordering all the drinks. So maybe she assumed that because she was drinking more than I was, that she's going, I don't know, but that's just how that went down yesterday. So yeah, that's crazy. But with the kids, I think they do it because they know that you probably the parent. So
right,
you know, because they do that when I go out with Marcus. Me and Marcus went out. It was two dudes,
right,
and they handed me the check, and I was like, oh, well, we actually splitting this, and he paying his half. And the girl's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just thought y'all was going, you paying for it. I was like, no, he's paying for himself. So it's funny, even when you with your buddy or your son, like I was with Marcus, then they brought the bill to me. So
right.
I guess they looked at Marcus and seen he looks younger, so they felt like maybe he couldn't pay for it, but he's in a bar, so obviously he's old enough, so it's like he should have money to pay for it. So after that was kind of interesting. Even though it wasn't a woman, it was two males that they do that. So I think some of them do size you up. And they look at you and just kind of make that determination, you know, based on that, because that happened with Marcus.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
Yeah, I still think it's the time period is because it's so different. Whereas women are able to do that now, so they just set it in the middle.
Right.
But yeah, so that just messes with me. So for me, it's not so much the money aspect of it. It's more so who do they see as. Yeah, I keep want to go back to the head. Who they see as the person that's how can I say this without it sound like it's control? I don't want to say in charge, but the head or whatever, however you want to term it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. That's not so much like do they think he can't pay. I just always look at it as do they think that she's you know the one that's in control when she's running a relationship. So that's how it rubs me the wrong way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that too, but yeah. No, but so that's just what I wanted to talk about. I know it's not a big, long discussion, but, you know, I just want everybody to just kind of chime in. And like I said, just, you know, put in your 2 cents on what you feel about it. Because I think that's interesting on that, because I have some lady friends that still believes that the guy should pay. And then I have a lot of lady friends that, like you were just saying earlier, they independent enough, they can pay for it. They used to paying for the meals themselves anyway, so they told me they kind of just used to doing that because they single. So they always paying. So it's kind of a reaction in a sense. You know, even when they go out and meet somebody, like she told me she go out with her girlfriends, she pays when she with her girl because she's just used to being the one making the payments. Or not payments, but paying for the food or whatever. So I think that plays a part too, is, you know, how they are with everything. They just so used to doing that. It's almost like a tradition or something a habit that they kind of have. You know what I mean? So
now I've done this before on dates that I've been on. We went Dutch. Now what I did is I twisted it. You know, I do the whole escape room thing. So, but sometimes I would do a meet and greet first.
Right.
So there was a couple of times I said, you know what, we'll just meet at like a coffee shop or a lounge and just get drinks and not even go somewhere to have something to eat. Just because to me, it kind of takes away because I never ate before. Like I would go out, we'd go to a restaurant and I order the food and I would never eat the food because, you know, we're busy conversating because we getting to know each other. So that's when I switched it up and went to doing just like coffee or something like that or doing an escape room. But I know sometimes, you know, before we go out on dates, okay, well, this is going to be a Dutch. Like I said, so there's no expectations or anything that's coming out of it. But I think I said more people that's in the traditional mindset of this is what the man's supposed to do and the man should pay and do that. I think those people are going to always look at it as the man should pay regardless if it's just the first date and y'all never see each other again. But I'm the opposite side on that. So
yeah, I feel like that too. I do the Dutch thing because I tell them ahead of time, like you don't mind going Dutch, do you? You know, and there's some of them be like, no, that's fine. You know, some be like, why? You know, why can't you pay for it or what? So it's just funny how, like you said, at the end of the day, older people our age, right. I think more mindset is back in the day than the younger generation, like you said. They just, it's whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
The woman used to paying so she can pay, and some dudes actually expect the woman to pay. Believe it or not, I have a guy that I know at work, he tells me that, like he says when he goes out, he tells her, are you paying? Because I don't have the money. So, and the girl didn't have a problem, lady didn't have a problem with it. So it's definitely times have changed. Because I looked at him like, really? And the woman never questioned you? He's like, no, because I told her that I don't feel like I don't want to pay. She works and makes as much as me, so why can't she pay? And that's straight up, the dude cracks me up, his thought process. And he says that a lot about a lot of stuff. And he says that they don't never complain about it. So I guess it's just at that point now where it doesn't even bother women to do that. You know, just in a different era, like you said.
Now, did that ever make you feel as though, like, if a woman paid for it, did that ever make you feel like, I don't say less than a man, but did it make you feel funny when she paid for it and you didn't?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I guess that's the male ego thing.
Yeah. Because
again, I guess the way, I don't say dad raised us like that, but it's just something that was, you always thought that you're supposed to be the breadwinner because you're the guy. You're supposed to be able to take care of the bill because you are the man. And to see that is like, well, damn, I can't even pay the bill. You know, I look kind of weak. So yeah, when she did that, I was like, damn, because there's been a couple times where she paid and I'm sitting back while she signing the receipt. I'm just like, yeah, that don't feel right. You know, so yeah, it does bother me. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm accepting it, where the women make just as much as I do. And if they don't have a problem with it, I shouldn't feel any type of way because they can handle it. It's not like it's something they can't handle. So it's a mutual thing, I think, is where I'm starting to allow it to be. Because before I was just like feeling all types of ways, but yeah, I don't do that anymore. I mean, I don't go out expecting her to pay, but if she wanted to, I'm like, okay, you know, like I said, we get it, vice versa. One day you do it, the next time we go out, you know, I do it. So that's what happened last night. The bill was like freaking almost $100. So I'm sitting there looking like, well, maybe we do need to go Dutch. Because she kept ordering, like I said, ordering drink after drink after drink. And that's when I'm like, okay, now that's when maybe you need to come out the pocket a little bit because you're dominating the order. And it seemed like you should be able to put something towards that. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of, you know, in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, yeah, she needs to pay at least half because you're doing all the ordering. But again, that falls on you asked her out, so you shouldn't worry about how much the bill comes to because you did invite her out. So that's why I didn't say anything, because that was where I wound up coming to, was where I did invite her. So but I was looking like, damn, you getting kind of happy over there. I said, you need to slow down, take a time out, because she was just one after another, like boom, 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 boom. I was like, okay. And the girl came with the check, and she even looked at me. It was like, you got it? And this is what really makes me feel funny. Is when they go, is it okay? Can you pay it? That's when I feel some type of way. It's like
the date or the waitress?
Huh?
The date or the waitress?
The date. You know, she asked me because she's seen the bill. It's like, is you good? You can handle it? So that's when it really hits your ego. It's like, oh damn, now she's questioning me.
Right.
You feel like I can't. So I was like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. So that hit me when she looked at it. It was like, can you handle it? Because I'm like, if you know that it's too much, then you should offer to pay half if you feel like the dude couldn't handle it, in my opinion, because you're looking at me like I can't, so, you know, at least pay half. But she didn't. She just said, I get the next one. So I said, okay, we can do that.
Now, I can't remember what podcast I was looking at, or I heard it on seeing on YouTube, but it was this one brother. He was saying that men, if they can't afford a date, or if they can't afford to take a woman out on a date, and stuff like that, then they shouldn't even be dating.
Yeah.
I can understand that a little bit, but I think if it's discussed early, like if you're in a relationship, by then it shouldn't matter. But if you just meeting a person, I do kind of agree. But then again, I know I'm sounding like I'm back flip-flopping, but I'm just like over this old programming and where someone made this standard that how everything is supposed to be and that's how we supposed to function. Like, I'm my own person. I'm a free thinker. So what I want to do is what I want to do. And how I do it, I should not be criticized or labeled or put into a certain category because I choose not to do what everybody else is doing.
Right.
But this is another thing I want to ask you. So when it comes to trips, should the man pay all expenses paid for a trip, or should it be Dutch?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, again, it kind of falls in the same category, in my opinion, on who plans it. Now, let's say I'm telling my lady, oh, we're going to go here in 3 months, and this is what we're going to do. And I feel like it would be my responsibility because I'm planning it. It's something that I want to do. So I'm going to take the lead and make sure all the preparations, everything is taken care of. Now, we both talking and say, hey, well, 3 months, let's go to Cancun. What date? And we going to both, in my opinion, say, well, okay, now how are we going to do this? How much is the expenses, the airfare, the hotel, the excursions? What you get that, I get that. You know, so we kind of split it down the middle. So that way we both can, help with each other. I feel like that would be appropriate if we both mutually agree on planning something. Now, again, like I said, if I plan it and I want to take her on a trip, then I feel like it's my responsibility. Just like vice versa. If she wants to take me somewhere and it's all her idea, then I feel like she should pay for all the expenses. Now, if she'd be like, okay, I might need your help, would you be able to help me? Then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, the same thing. If I say I'm planning it, but I might need you to help with a little bit of expenses, like that. So I feel like that's how that would or should work. But again, like you said, some people mentality is it's the man's responsibility. He's planning it. He should pay for everything, regardless if he came up with it or she came up with the idea.
I believe it really depends on that man's financial situation. Like if he's able to do it, most men that has the ability to do it, it may not be a problem. But if you don't have the capabilities, then I can see, okay, well, we're gonna have to go Dutch or whatever the case is. But I'm still on a firm belief. I don't know. To me, trips is a little bit different than a date. So I would more or less lean towards what trips, it should be more or less the man's responsibility as far as paying for the flight, paying for the hotel, rental car. Now, as far as dinner and stuff like that, depending on how long you're going to be on that trip, if it's all expense paid, you just want to take care of your lady and show her your appreciation. Yeah. That's one way of doing it with an all expense paid trip. The only thing she has to do is go there and relax. And that's, I guess, in a sense of like treating her like a queen and just letting her know that she's appreciated and, you're going to take care of her. So whatever she's dealing with back at home, she can truly just relax and have a good time on vacation opposed to, okay, babe, you got it? No, I got it today. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think trips are a little bit different from like going out to eat. To me, that shouldn't matter because that's at the most, depending on what type of restaurant you're going to. Even if you go to a high level, 5-star, you're possibly looking at with drinks and stuff, $150. And that's not a lot of money. But a trip, that's a little different. So I think trips, I kind of see that the man taking, the full load with that. So, I had the couple of relationships where it was kind of like Dutch, or I paid for the flight and the hotel, but then she helped with with food and stuff like that. But I truly believe that man should take that full responsibility when it comes to trips and stuff like that. I know that's probably ass backwards or sound backwards, but
no. I agree. Like I said, if you planning it, so what you're saying is, let me make sure I'm understanding you. I get what you're saying when you're saying the man should take it. But what I mean is that let's say you're a significant other, be like, hey, man, let's go here. I want to go do this. I'm a planet, you're gonna pretty much say, no, let me pay for everything.
Yeah.
You can do the arrangements, but I'm still gonna foot the bill.
Right.
So what you're saying is either way, whoever comes up with that idea, no matter what, the man should pay for it.
Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I agree with that, but that's where I guess I disagree.
Yeah.
Is where I guess I'm saying it's your idea, kind of contrary. So you should pay for it. I guess that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Right.
But you're right. You know, that's something that the man should do. That if you want to splurge and spoil her, yeah, he should pay and show that appreciation. So, but then again, that's where I'm kind of on the fence where I'm like, well, it's your idea. So at least go, you know, half, or like you say, even do the dinner part. Like I paid for the traveling, the lodging and all that. And then we go out to eat, you know, you can do that, pay for that. But if it's all out, I got you, I'm taking care of you, then yeah, the dude definitely should take care of the load, the full load, and just let her reciprocate and receive it and enjoy it. Just literally, you know, enjoy ourselves. So, but if it's a mutual place we both agree on, then I think because like when I want to go to Houston, the lady friend I was asking, like I'm paying for that. Like I would be bad, be like, well, you gonna pay your half, right? When I'm inviting her. So that's something where I wouldn't expect her to pay because for one, I'm inviting her, you know. So yeah, I don't. Natural respect, I should be the one that pay the whole bill. So I get it. Yeah, that's good though. That's a good point you made about the traveling thing. That's a real good point.
Now that also depends on how long you've been in a relationship too with the person. I believe, because if you've been together for like 2 or 3 years, then it's like, hey babe, don't worry about it. You know, I'll help you out if you need it. I could see that. But like if you just met the person and y'all been dating for a couple of months and stuff like that, yeah, it should definitely be you. Yeah.
But see, that's funny though. That's what I'm saying. You say that, but it's a lot of women nowadays, even with that said, they still insist on wanting to help because they take it, not, I won't say as an insult, but some of them take it as, I can afford it, so why don't you want me to help you? Like they do get a little offended. I'm gonna just put that out there. Now I'm sure at the end of the day they're gonna be like, okay, go ahead and do it if you're gonna do it. But I feel like some of the ladies that you know, still they can definitely afford it. Like I have a lady friend that she's well off, single woman, making good money. So she like, you know what, I can afford it, so it's no big deal. Let me pay. You know, so they insist because they know that it's not hurting their pockets and they feel like it's not disrespect because the guy ain't doing it. It's just something that they want to do to show their respect. So, and I think they actually got a tradition now next month. It's called Take the Guy on a Date. You know what I'm
that was September. Yeah.
Oh, that was September, so it passed already? Yeah. So I gotta go tell her she gotta make up for it.
October is actually buy a flight or buy a ticket for your man, or buy a ticket for a man month. It's October.
Oh wow, I never heard that one, but I heard about taking the guy on a date. So
I had a couple of dates like that last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's cool. You know, I think that'd be a good way where a woman could do it. You know, like for that way you don't have to feel like they always got to do it. Just pick a month and just let them do that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really curious and interested to see, you know, what a woman's perspective is on this.
Yeah. Well, that's why next time we can come back, hopefully, you know, the guests that I had planned can come on and they can come in and give their insight.
Right.
Input. Because, I would love to hear a woman's point of view on that as well.
For sure. Okay, so with no further ado, beautiful people, that's going to conclude this podcast. And like you said, it's going to be a part 2 with a woman and get the woman's perspective on it. And then we can go from there. So as always, beautiful people, like, subscribe, comment. A thought becomes a belief and a belief becomes your manifestation.
Yes, sir. STS, you already know what I'm going to say. Stay focused, trust your process, stay consistent, guys. Whatever you do in life, you follow that, you will reach your ultimate goal, whatever it is you're trying to achieve in life. So y'all have a good weekend or good week, and see you guys next week.
Peace.
We out.
They wonders of the world, they monsters. The twin Tompkins brought her only on. They travel the world stopping at the break of dawn daily. The iron's pumping. I bring you no brothers, about to bring you their life. Look no further, everybody, cause it's day and night.
Let's go.